Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is the November 9th, 2021 meeting of the Laughlin Town Advisory Board here at the Clark County Government Center at 101 Civic Way. Okay, and I'll go ahead and dispense with some reading here. Basic housekeeping. What we have is items on the agenda may be taken out of order, and the board may combine two or more agenda items for consideration. The board may remove an item from the agenda or delay discussion relating to an item at any time. No action may be taken on any matter not listed on today's posted agenda. All planning and zoning matters heard at this meeting are forwarded to the Board of County Commissioners Zoning Commission, otherwise known as the BCC, or the Clark County Planning Commission, PC, for final action. Please take a minute and turn off or mute all cell phones or other electronic devices you have with you. And if there's any private conversations, please take them outside of this room. Within 48 hours, advance request a sign language interpreter or other reasonable efforts to assist and accommodate persons with physical disabilities may be made available by calling 702-455-3530, TDD at 702-385-7486, or Relay Nevada toll-free at 800-326-6868. Supporting material provided to the board for today's meeting may be requested from Tammy Harris, our secretary, here at 702-298-0828. And supporting material is or will be available at the Clark County Department of Administrative Services, 500 South Grand Central Parkway in Las Vegas. Also, it will be available at the Clark County website at clarkcountynv.gov/LaughlinTAB. Also, if any of you would like, I believe there's some copies of material at the back of the room. You have before you your board consisting of myself, Kathy Oakes, Chair. Kathleen Haas is out sick today. Fred Doughton, Herm Walker, and Pamela Walker, no relation. Our secretary is Tammy Harris, and her number again is 702-298-0828, and she can be reached at tammy.harris@clarkcountynv.gov. Our county liaison with us here today is Mark Moskowitz, and he can also be reached at the same number and an additional number of 702-455-6173, and his email is mark.moskowitz, MOSKOWITZ, @clarkcountynv.gov. So we've called this meeting to order. And if I can please have you stand for our invocation led by Pastor Doug Wesley and our Pledge of Allegiance.
For somebody to fly a jet fighter at 1,000 miles an hour in enemy territory and be shot at takes a certain type of person. Not a regular guy does that. And a lot of times it's not the type of guy that would come in and teach a Sunday school class. Although the guys that can do that are rather exceptional. Same with our police department. They're asked to do things that most people just won't do. And I can tell you, I'm a witness to how they've handled people here in Laughlin. They come in, they're gentlemen, they treat people with dignity and respect, and I'm very pleased to know them, and I believe that we should be supporting them and praying for them. Our fire department, I witnessed a time when it was working late one night, and I was outside, and a lady came up to me and said she had some guy in her car that needed some help. It's a homeless guy she found laying on the street, seemingly passed out. So she brought him here. And we called the fire department, and they came over with their truck. They came over with the paramedics. Now I'll tell you something. They treated this guy with as much dignity and respect as you would treat a mayor or a city councilman. The fire department we have here is that they're excellent quality people. We need to love and respect them as well. I was a school teacher in California for a while, and I was in the Santa Ana School District, which is one of the toughest school districts in California. I was asked to go in one time to help out with a class where the kids had taken this guy's toupee off, squirted him with CO2, turned the fire alarm on, and thrashed his car. So I was brought in. They always brought me into situations like that. I don't know why, but because I could calm the kids down. You know, school teachers, it's the same thing. They go into situations that could be really difficult. And we need to honor, we need to respect them. We need to pray for them and lift them up. We have a new county commissioner that I've noticed in action. He also is somebody that I consider to be a really good man. He smiles, he likes to keep things a little bit light. But when things get serious, he gets serious. He's somebody else I like to lift up in prayer and be thankful for him. So let's pray for these people. Father, I ask you now to bless those firemen, those police officers, those people that are working with the public and are faced with really difficult situations, school teachers, our county commissioner, the people over at the park system. They're excellent people that have a very real concern for the citizens as well as the senior center. We thank you so much for their devotion. We thank you that you've given us such tremendous people here in Laughlin. Please bless them, look over them, and our board here too. I know each one of them. I've met them over the time that they've been in office. Good people that really have the best interest for Laughlin. We thank you for blessing us. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. I'll go ahead and commence with our roll call. Pamela Walker.
Here.
Here. Herman Walker.
Here.
Fred Doughton.
Here.
Kathleen Haas is out sick today. And myself, Kathy Oakes, as chair. We have 4 members present. We do have a quorum. Going forward, item number 2 is public comment. This is a period devoted to comments by the general public about items that are on today's agenda. No discussion, action, or vote may be taken on the agenda item at this time. You'll be afforded an opportunity to speak on individual public hearing items at the time they are presented. If you wish to speak to the board about items within its jurisdiction but not appearing on today's agenda, you must wait until the comments by the general public period listed at the end of the agenda. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, and we ask that you please step up to the speaker's podium here and state your name and address for the record. If you would also spell your name, as our meetings here are recorded, and it also makes it easier on our secretary to get your name correct for the record. If any member of the board wishes to extend the length of a presentation, this will be done by the chairperson or the board by majority vote. And is there anyone today that wishes to come forward and speak on items that are on today's agenda as posted? Okay. Please come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, my name is Christopher Diley, D-E-I-L-E, and I'm homeless, so no address. And that's regarding the Section 5 informational items, item number 3, the Laughlin Chamber of Commerce, and 10 and 11, the Laughlin Tourism Commission, as they relate to public safety. As the handout that I provided to the council members, it's regarding what appears to be a local tourism scam, and I'll just briefly describe it within the 3 minutes, what's involved in it. And well, what I did is I'm homeless. I received Social Security. I have a disability, multiple sclerosis, and I purchased when I received my $900, I purchased a Vanilla Visa card at the Walmart. I went to the Bullhead City Library and I made a reservation at one of the casinos because they have the lowest rates for rooms. And they accepted it, online, and they gave me a confirmation number and a reservation. So I came over. It was at the Edgewater Hotel, and I showed up at the about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and looking to check in. And they said, no, you can't check in. You must have a credit card with your name on it. We don't accept those Walmart cards. I said, well, you accepted it when you made the reservation. You gave me a confirmation number. And they said, well, no, you have to have a credit card with your name on it. You can't stay here. And I explained to him my situation, and I asked to speak with the supervisor, and she said, no, you can't stay here. You have to have a card. And she said, it's in the fine print. You'll have to take it up with Vanilla Visa and with Expedia.com, the agency you go through. So I was in a predicament where I didn't know where to go, because most of the casinos require a credit card with your name on it. And I'm like, I've been through this before up in Las Vegas, where 6 months ago I don't want to get too graphic, but I was walking around in adult diapers due to the MS rectal complications, going from hotel, motel. Everybody was requiring, you must have a credit card. I'm like, I don't have one. I need to stay somewhere. I've got the money. I can pay a cash deposit. They wouldn't let me stay anywhere. So I found out that there's one place here. Well, I'll just keep it brief and say they kept the money. They charged me for that room.
You mean Expedia kept the money?
Yeah, I think it was either Expedia. When I went back to the Edgewater, they said, well, we didn't keep it. We didn't charge you. We canceled the reservation and didn't charge you. You have to take it up with Expedia. So when I did, I took it up with Expedia, and they said, we don't have anything showing that we're going to be returning the money to you. So I got charged for that room without being allowed to stay there. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's like really bad business practice, because that's like a, I don't know, bait and switch, or I don't know what you would call it, but and you can't hold them accountable, or I can't hold them accountable. I'm like,
so it's between the Visa company and Expedia is basically where the money is gone, and the Visa company is not.
Yeah. But my problem with the Edgewater Casino is that they accepted it. And they said, well, we didn't know that it was a Walmart gift card, when we accepted it. I said, you most certainly did, because you know how much was on the card. If it was a card with only $2 on it, they wouldn't have accepted it. So they knew what the card was, where it was coming from, and they knew that I had $150 on it to cover the cost of the room and a deposit. And they wouldn't honor it. So I'm like, so they weren't being honest with me. So Edgewater Casino should not accept.
If it was booked through Expedia, more than likely it wouldn't, the financial transaction would have happened before that, I believe. So.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that Edgewater should not accept and make a confirmation and a reservation when they know that it's coming from, from a card that they're going to refuse when the person shows up in person. Because it put me in quite a predicament. Okay. I didn't know what I was going to do, and they didn't care. They said, go somewhere. I finally found, I went to the...
I'm just not sure how we can help with that situation, unless if there's some contact information and possibly try and follow up with the Visa card company. I think it would be through Expedia and the Visa card company is where the first financial transaction has happened.
Well, I think...
and I'm not sure. I would need you to give us some of your contact information, if we can get a hold of you too, or after this meeting perhaps, and see what we can do.
Yeah, I think specifically it's with the Edgewater Casino that if the Laughlin Town Council could take it up with them and say, this is your responsibility. You should not make a reservation and a confirmation and put a person in that predicament. They would not agree to do that with me. They said, no, we will continue, to give people confirmations and reservations based knowing that they're going to show up and be denied. Okay. I'm like, you that's your responsibility. You need not to do that to an individual.
Okay, I understand.
That's their business practice.
Okay. I understand. And like I said, if we can have you after the meeting, Jackie just gave you her card as well, and of course she is our Chamber of Commerce director and the LTC. So perhaps there's something she can follow up with you at the end of the meeting and find out. But I honestly do believe, at least in my experience with online booking, once you put it through Expedia is the individual that takes the money, and they send a confirmation email reservation to the property. So it's a third-party booking. It's not done by the Edgewater.
Yeah, and I'd like
And
to-
this
I'd like
has
to-
been my
Madam
experience,
Chair,
but,
we're well beyond 3 minutes.
Yeah,
on this.
but I'd like to
Okay.
be clear, it is Edgewater, because they did make the reservation. It wasn't Expedia, it was Edgewater that made the.
all right,
Yeah.
and please, like I said, let's follow up with you after this meeting. Thank you. Okay. Okay, and we have, anyone else care to speak on items appearing on this agenda? Okay, so I'll go ahead and call for a motion for the approval of the minutes of our October 12th, 2021 meeting.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I have 3 in favor and 1 abstaining me. I was not at that meeting, so I'll be abstaining from that vote. And the motion carries. Approval of today's agenda for November 9th, 2021. Is there any call to hold, combine, or delete any items amongst the board? No? Okay, then I'll call for the question to accept the agenda as approved or as written. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Moving forward to item 5, informational items. Receive a report and updates from South County Liaison. You're going to be busy. Mark Moskowitz for discussion only.
Thank you, Chair. I'll actually wait to do mine a little, nothing at this time. I'll do one at number 3.
Oh, okay, as they're listed? Okay,
Yep.
no problem. All right. And then we have item number 2, which is a presentation of First Responder Award by the Laughlin Rotary Club. Okay, and do we have a presentation for that?
I believe.
Okay. Oh, boy.
Well, Mr. Hemingway, man of the town. You know how super proud of you I am? All these years, look at you. You get to retire before me. That sucks. So, you hold this and I'll speak, Vince, because I can't do both. Okay. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Laughlin, I'm honored to present Detective Walt Hemingway with the Distinguished Service Award. This award is presented in recognition of your many years of dedicated service and commitment to the citizens of Laughlin, Nevada. The Rotary Club of Laughlin recently established a new recognition program for the first responders, recognizing that our other communities honor those individuals who make a difference in their communities. And our club wanted to do the same for Laughlin. The Distinguished Service Award will be presented on a quarterly basis. Eligible candidate applications will be solicited from local substation leaders from Clark County agencies, Nevada Highway Patrol. The selection committee consists of Rotarians and local leaders with alternating committee participants who ensure the broad review of applications. Detective Hemingway is the first recipient of this newly established award, quarterly award for the first responders. He has dedicated over 27 years of public service to communities on both sides of the Colorado River. His involvement with charitable events such as Santa Cops, Backpack Buddies, Trunk or Treat, and National Night Out demonstrates that he is true public servant to the citizens of Laughlin. He also volunteers his time at the local schools coaching football and instructing in the driver's education program. Vince and I, as representatives of the Laughlin Rotary Club, thank you, Detective Hemingway, for your service. We are proud to present you with this award.
So shiny.
What's the rule?
Okay. No facial recognition on this one. 27 years, the exact time I've been here too, so, yeah.
I get an award.
I don't get to retire, though. What's wrong with that? Thank you very much, and congratulations, Detective. We're very grateful. And we have to present a proclamation to recognize the Laughlin Chamber of Commerce for their continued support and work for our community.
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
From the Board of County Commissioners, myself, and this town board, I'd like to present this proclamation to the Laughlin Chamber of Commerce for all they do for this community and everybody. I know everyone works very closely with them, and they're always willing to help. So recently, it was Chamber of Commerce Week, and the commissioners wanted to show their appreciation. So,
Jackie.
the Chamber of Commerce Week.
And our volunteers, such an important part of it.
You can't go anywhere without my gift.
No, they make it. Every vaccine clinic, I see these people.
So I can tell you, the things that we did over the last 2 years through the pandemic, work is out a lot of hard work, weekends, nights, crying a little bit, being a little frustrated in the community, and government, and people at times, and just kind of being pissed off enough to do something. And it's the truth. We just got a little pissed off and started doing whatever we could. And then helping those especially that were in need of a little extra service, and small businesses that were failing because they didn't have the revenue streams that they had before. And for all the events that we do through Laughlin Chamber, it wouldn't be anything without this subcommittee of our Laughlin Chamber that's over 85 strong. They're all background vetted and checked and out, interviewed, and we just got a new one over here. I think we're close to maybe a little over 100 now. And they all are amazing people. They do what we do for our community, no matter what event it is. For children, adults, animals, first responders, whatever we do. So we need to put it together. Thank you so much. You smile? I did.
Yeah, you can tell. Thank you again. And Jackie, especially from this board, from the standpoint, during the pandemic, a lot of the government services shut down, and it was the chamber that stood up for the community, was the information source, the go-to, putting together funding options to help people with rents, groceries, the food bank, everything. Yes, we're limited here with some of our government services, but very grateful that the chamber stepped up and stepped in and filled the void that was left from the pandemic. The community, yeah.
I mean, the Legion, everybody came together
Yep.
and just did what they had to do, and we were just a facilitator.
Yep.
But it was a quick group for everybody to get together.
Yep, and it meant a lot to the community. They knew where to go. Can we do more of those? So, I like those. Those are fun.
Yeah.
Item number 4, we're going to receive a report from Lieutenant Rogers. Did he sit down? Oh, there he is. With Metro Police regarding activity and statistics during the past month and other crime area concerns.
Good afternoon, board members. Lieutenant Grant Rogers here on behalf of Laughlin Substation. Just do a quick overview of our stats from last month. We responded to 357 calls for service, which is just slightly down from last year at this time, down about 3%, and it's a little bit of an increase from September, just something that we're monitoring. As far as traffic citations, we wrote 349 traffic citations for last month. We responded to 2 DUIs. And then arrests for domestic violence, we had 4 of those, and total bookings into the Laughlin jail or Tucker holding facility was 28 arrests. And we wrote 1 juvenile citation here in Laughlin. As far as events that we have coming up, we just finished both of our trunk or treat events here in Laughlin, which was a good success. A lot of candy or money was donated by just the individual people, and some of the hotels even got together and donated some candy to pass out. So it was a very, very well attended. Our next event is going to be the turkey drive, or what I call like the Thanksgiving meal prep, which will be next Wednesday. So if the board or anyone listening is aware of anyone that is in need of food for Thanksgiving, through 3 Square and the Laughlin Food Bank, we're providing food next week. And if someone doesn't have a car, we're getting with Silver Rider to get free transportation, or some of my officers, bearing schedules, will actually deliver the food too. So if you get a knock at the door and it's a couple officers in uniform, we're not taking anyone to jail, we're giving food away.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be
to
afraid.
Answer the door.
Yeah. And then just to project out our Santa Cops, or what we usually call Shop with a Cop, will be December 18th, and that will start with a breakfast at the VFW or the Legion Building. Yeah, American Legion Building. Yes, correct. So just to put on the calendar, and same thing for that event, we have asked the schools, the teachers, and the principal to identify children that are in need, but sometimes whether they're new to town or the kids aren't very open to their teacher or principal. So if you know of a kid that's in need of, toys or clothing for Christmas, then let me know or shoot me an email and we can add them to our list for that. So that's kind of the stats and our community involvement over the next couple months. So any questions from the board? Anybody? Good?
No.
Okay.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Okay, I'm supposed to run the meeting. All right. Receive a report from Clark County Fire Department regarding calls for service during the past month and fire prevention issues. Hello, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, Board. My name is Battalion Chief Scott Straley. I'm in charge of all the Laughlin stations. Nice to see you again. It's been a while since I've been here. We've had an increase in calls in the last month. October, we had a total of 279 calls. That's an increase from 253 the month before, which is 16% increase between the 2 months. Compared to last year, we had an increase of 11%. Last year, we had a total at this time of 2,335 calls, and this year, up to October 31st, we have 2,603 calls. So the good thing for me is that means your economy's coming up and people are coming to visit. One of the last times I was here, it was in the middle of the pandemic, and we were negative on a lot of our numbers, and people are calling for help. That means they're coming to visit Laughlin, so that's a good thing for us.
Yeah.
So we want to keep the people coming. I want to continue to see, it's not good that we're running more calls, but that means it's good that the economy is recovering here and it's increasing. So if we're getting busy, that means the economy is recovering and we're getting a lot more people, a lot more events to Laughlin.
I'm curious, and this was just my opinion. I often felt Laughlin would recover faster than Vegas simply because we're more casual, more laid back, and less dense, more spaced out. Are you seeing similarity numbers like this, the 11% in the Vegas areas that you're running, or no?
I don't have those stats. I didn't review them today.
What's your feel? I was a cop, so you kind of get a feel from year to year.
Because of the pandemic in Vegas, we had a lot more COVID cases. And this time last year, my units in town were very, very busy with COVID. Not the casinos, but going into residential homes, apartments, and dealing with a lot of COVID cases. The COVID cases are coming down, but our call volume is still up. And because Las Vegas is opening up, we have a state law that makes us go to certain special events. And depending on how many people, we're actually working a lot more this year because Las Vegas is having a lot of extra special events, bringing people into Las Vegas too.
Trying to make up for the time.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious.
Any questions?
Any questions from the board?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And we were due to receive a report from Will Smith with Clark County Water Reclamation District. He is not here with us today, but at the back of the room, indeed, the report is there. And just a brief overview. For October 2021, they treated an average of 1.6. What's the MGD again? I forget. Million gallons producing clean water return to the Colorado River in comparison to October 2020, which was 1.8. So it's a flow decrease of 200,000 gallons per day from this time last year. And I have an idea that last year a lot of people were still traveling because they weren't allowed to, and the kids weren't in school. I know the occupancy was higher last year at this time than it is now, so that makes logical sense. So then we'll move forward to receive a report from Jason Bailey, Big Bend Water District, regarding status of the water system. And thank you for fixing the big link in front of my house.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Jason Bailey with the Big Bend Water District with a monthly report. For the month of October 2021, there were 260 acre feet diverted. That is down from previous years, and as you can see, the year-to-date totals are 2,695 acre feet. Again, down from 2020 and 2019. That's in part, small part by, system improvement, but large part of water demand is the reason it's down. No major system leaks or repairs to report at this time. Pretty brief report, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I think we did take a look at a few weeks ago, and because I missed the October meeting, I was out on that meeting. When I did sit on your board, we had the capital expenditures and improvements, and I was just wondering, maybe after the first of the year, because I know the holidays get kind of crazy.
Sure.
If you could maybe give us an update on what the capital improvements, and I know you were awarded some additional funding. If you could just kind of let us know, where that's going with our plan.
Sure. For the Big Bend Water District specifically.
Yes.
And the additional funding you're referring to is the grant money that
Correct.
was received earlier in the year, the 1.5 million. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can put together a list for you.
Okay, great,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, just after the first of the year when things calm down.
Okay.
January, February, be good.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
And receive a report from Elon Bilbray with Parks and Recreation regarding status of programs and upcoming activities. Hello.
Hello, Elon Bilbray, Clark County Parks and Recreation. For October, we had 18 programs, 385 visits. We had our trunk or treat at Mountain View Park, which had a really good turnout. And I wanted to thank the Chamber VIPs, Jackie, Joyce Marino. I know she already left, but anytime that we do an event like that, I can call Joyce and she hops on board. So I really want to thank you guys. Also Metro came out, Bennett PTO and the library, they all came out as well. So I just want to say thank you to anybody that came out. Our holiday tree lighting will be December 11th from 5:30 to 7 at Mountain View Park. Our senior holiday party will be on December 22nd from 12 to 2 at the Spirit Mountain Activity Center. And again, we are still looking for a part-time front desk employee, so if anybody is interested, please come to the center and get an application. And that's it.
Any questions from the board? No? Thank you,
you.
Elon. Mark, if after the meeting, if we get a chance, just some of these events, if I could get your schedule and see if you're going to be here for some of them, but if not, if any of the board. I know most of them you attend anyways, but like the tree lighting and stuff like that.
Sure.
So we
yeah,
just know what your schedule is and can plan that.
Definitely, yeah.
Thank you. And receive a report from Haley Mayo. There she is. University of Nevada Cooperative Extension regarding status of programs and upcoming activities. Hello.
Hello. First off, I just want to give a big thank you to the library and everybody who attended our Master Gardener speaker series and Dr. O'Callahan's presentation on bees. We had a really good turnout and it was a very interesting topic. There's a lot more bees out there than just honeybees, so it was a good time. We have a community garden cleanup scheduled for next Tuesday, November 16th at 8 a.m. Nevada time. My master gardeners were asking me about that because some of them live in Arizona and, we're back in that time. The Master Gardeners and anybody else who wishes to come out and volunteer is welcome to come. We're going to be cleaning up the beds, tilling them, and just getting the overall garden space pretty and ready for fall and winter planting. And then 2021, 2022 4-H enrollment is still open and is available for any youth aged 5 to 18 who are interested in becoming a member.
Any questions from the board? No. Thank you, Haley. And receive a report from Jackie Whalen at Laughlin Chamber of Commerce regarding current and upcoming business activities in Laughlin. And then also we'll receive a report from the Laughlin Tourism Commission with Jackie as well.
This Saturday, Community Achievement Awards. We had 180-something nominations this year. 13 categories. We whittled them down. I should not say we, because I have nothing to do with it. A judging panel of 7 did all the work, and they whittled down to 4 in each category, and then came up with winners, including the 3 spirits. So that's 17 awards we get to give out on Saturday. Mark was one of the judges this year, and boy, did he meet a lot of people in his first year. It's an amazing opportunity for anybody, and anybody that's interested in being a judge next year, all you have to do is email me, and I'll make sure that you get considered. So that will be this weekend, November 13th at Laughlin Ranch, and we do COVID preventive mitigation program where each category comes in every 30 minutes, and we only have 25 to 30 people in a single closed room at one time. Our morning mixers have been great. The last morning mixer was very educational, but most people watched it online, and that's good for us. But it was all about the PhD in science behind the caddisfly. We'll have another one a week earlier this month because of Thanksgiving, and a week earlier in December. I don't have any topics to announce right now because everybody's fighting over those 2 months for education, and so we'll be announcing it pretty soon. The volunteers are still gaining ground. We just keep gaining volunteers by the day. I think it's because some of our elderly and retired people are coming back, and so they want something to do. But they still have Darius Rucker, Community Achievement Awards, Tough Mudder, Run Laughlin, Snore, and the Christmas Jingle Mingle Mixer to volunteer for us, so they're having a really good time. And on top of that, they are also our airport ambassadors, and they welcome every plane in, and they say goodbye to every plane leaving, and the people who are visiting us really, really like that. Our membership is up. We're at 305 as of today. Laughlin percentage is 29%. Our new members this quarter are 2, and new members to Laughlin are 1. We are staying connected with the Nevada Recover partners for grants for this area, not just for my chamber, but for the whole community. So I'm hoping that some of the ideas I put into the computer, no matter how vague they were and how kind of not economic development minded I am, I did my best to put some of the things we needed in there, and we expect to get responses on those pretty soon. And that's all I really need to cover from that report. Any questions?
Any questions of the board? No? Thank you, Jackie.
I'll move right on to the Laughlin Tourism Commission. This week we are sponsoring the World's Toughest Mudder World Championships. They're coming from all over the country. It looks like we're going to have almost 2,000 participants or competitors, but with that comes just like a NASCAR race. It comes with the pit crew, and it's a 24-hour race over 25 miles, and it goes all night, and they have to have shoes changed and bodies cleaned and energy put into their bodies because they'll be going through mud over a lot of fencing and doing a lot of jumping and hurting themselves. So that's then we have right after that Tough Mudder the very next weekend. And then Run Laughlin comes December 5th. Snore comes December 10th through 13th. We still have townwide concerts. The biggest one right now is Darius Rucker, and any of the other ones after that are going specifically by property, and that's through Ticketmaster. We know tomorrow whether or not we were approved for the big fishing tournament out of Lake Mojave at Catherine. It'll be the Laughlin Open at Catherine Landing at Lake Mojave. The majority of the events after fishing will happen here in the township, though, and we have 400 anglers, $270,000 in prize, plus a new bass boat.
And we find out tomorrow?
Yes,
if
tomorrow.
If we got it?
Yeah. Tomorrow's the day to find out whether I got the funding or not to give to them. And we're still working on the digital billboards, trying to figure out what the best possible time that is to put those billboards up in the Southwest to attract more visitors from the destination marketing efforts that we're doing. I think that's it.
Any questions?
I have a question.
Huh?
Talk loud to the microphone.
Jackie, this probably was more pertinent to the chamber report, but I just wanted to ask you if you've heard any chatter about changing the time zone for the state.
It's not that there's not conversation about it, because there is. People walk in all the time and say, what time is it? And we tell them, and they get irritated and frustrated. We understand wholeheartedly how they feel when they have to change time zones. And from my position, I always tell people, if you're spending most of your time in one state or the other, just lock your phone on that city or that state. That way you don't get confused. It eliminates the frustration. But as far as the ordinances and the state laws, they don't share those with me.
Okay, well, what prompts my question is, the number I heard was 19 governors have petitioned the federal government to eliminate daylight savings time entirely, which I don't think is probably going to happen. But I haven't dealt with this for a long time, but at the time that I did, time zones were under the jurisdiction of the Department of Transportation. And I don't know if they can change boundaries or not, but an answer to that would not be difficult to find. I really wondered if it wouldn't be in Laughlin's favor to petition the Transportation Department to move the the boundary line a little bit to the west to put Laughlin year-round compatible with across the river.
Laughlin Town Advisory Board member Walker, would you like me to look some things up and send it your way, some research?
Go for it.
Okay,
Sure.
I can do that.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When are they gonna change the sign that says Laughlin?
Remember, I fought, I won, they said they do it. No, I can't light a fire under them. They've got to do it. I petitioned, we won extra, and Susie Lee is now on it. It's out of my hands. Susie Lee's the one that's cracking the whip to make sure that they get it done. Anything else?
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. And receive a report from Tanya Brownworth at the Laughlin Library. She's not able to be here with us today, but she did leave an agenda at the back. So any of you that would like that, you can certainly pick that up. And we were due to receive a report from the Laughlin school system, and I don't see Ashlyn or Dawn out there, so we won't be receiving that today. We have announcements of upcoming neighborhood meetings and county or community meetings and events. This is for discussion only.
We have none at this time.
Nothing at this time. Okay. I'll go ahead and advise everyone that the Laughlin Town Advisory Board is accepting applications. I believe there's some at the back of the room, Tammy, at least I saw when I came in. For the 2022 Laughlin Citizen of the Year, and that's opening on November 9th, and nominations will close on December 31st. So you can get those at the back of the room over here. The nomination forms must be turned in to the Laughlin Administrative Office here at the Government Center by 5 o'clock on December 31st. Are we here at 5 o'clock on December 31st? I don't know what day of the week that is.
We'll have to double check to make sure the office is.
Yeah.
Actually, it's going to be
The third, yeah, I thought so. I just recalling. Okay, so let's make that, just for clarification, the 30th. The Laughlin Citizen of the Year Award, if you're not familiar with, it's given annually in honor of the late Jim Edwards and is intended to recognize and thank the outstanding citizen of Laughlin who has given his or her private time and effort to help local government make Laughlin a better place to live. It's expected that the 2022 Citizen of the Year recipient will be announced and honored at this board meeting of Tuesday, February 8th, 2022, at our 1:30 p.m. regularly scheduled meeting. Okay? And planning and zoning, we have no items before this board. Moving forward to item number 7, which is general business. This is to review, discuss, and approve the 2020, let's make that 2022, am I correct? 2022 Laughlin Town Advisory Board meetings and take any action deemed appropriate. And folks, if you, on the board, if you saw the dates and if there was anything, any type of discrepancy, they did cancel the 29th and the 27th for after Thanksgiving and between Christmas and New Year's. Is there any conversation, anything else we need to look at? Herm? Seem fine. The dates for the proposed meetings for 2022? Any discrepancies there? They did cancel the end of November and the end of December.
I'd like to make a motion, we accept the dates as.
Okay, as written. Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries 4-0. And moving on to item number 2 under general business today, discuss and take appropriate action regarding support of the Avi Kawa'ami Spirit Mountain National Monument. And I believe, hello, welcome back.
I'm Alan O'Neill. That's ALANO''NEILL. And I'm a retired superintendent out at Lake Mead National Recreation Area, and I'm advisor to the National Parks Conservation Association. And I'm part of that broad coalition that is developing the Vickwame National Monument proposal and promoting its establishment. I would also like to recognize Berta Gutierrez here and Craig Bakuzian. Yeah. First, I want to thank the Town Advisory Board for working so positively with us the last 2 years and kind of reshaping the original proposed boundary of the proposed national monument south of State Route 163 in the Laughlin Township. We feel it has been a positive and productive dialogue and allowed us to better understand the overall needs of the community. As part of that process, we have also worked with many other stakeholders, such as the Laughlin Chamber of Commerce, the Clark County Off-Highway Vehicle Committee, the Nevada Outdoor Recreation Business Coalition, the Nevada Wildlife Federation, Backcountry Anglers and Hunters, International Dark Sky Association, and others. As we've discussed, the adjusted boundary south of Highway 163 now excludes the Southlands area and does not impact the transmission line corridor that would transmit electricity generated by the solar development on the Southlands to the Mojave Generating Station. So that's outside of the adjusted boundary. The adjusted boundary also continues to have no impact on the area identified in the Bureau of Land Management's Resource Management Plan for disposal to accommodate future growth for Laughlin. So that kind of disposal boundary that was identified in the plan. The boundary also has no impact on the area that the county has proposed for a potential OHV management area. We appreciate the collaboration with you and others in Laughlin to get to this point, and we believe the monument boundary supports the community's ability to grow and diversify economically. We also see positive benefits as it relates to the potential growth and expansion of the community's ecotourism efforts. Creating the monument brings national attention to the area's designation indicates that the area does have national significance. This is important as people are planning on where they want to visit. It brings a different cachet to the area. People don't normally travel to see ACECs. By creating this monument, you are connecting the national designated protected areas on the California side of the boundary to Lake Mead National Recreation Area, another nationally significant area. This creates a block of nationally significant areas that is quite powerful in terms of tourism appeal and potential. In fact, I can think of no other area in the country that has this number of nationally designated areas adjacent to their community. I say with the possible exception of Moab, which is, it's really centered itself as a center for ecotourism. Several recent economic studies concluded that national monuments help nearby communities diversify economically while increasing the quality of life and recreational opportunities that make communities more attractive for new residents, businesses, and investment. Designation of the Aviquame National Monument brings the opportunity for enhanced funding, both operational funds and programs like the Southern Nevada Public Land Management Act, which can further improve facilities in the area for the traveling public. As I mentioned in our discussions that we've had, there are many positive things going on in the Laughlin community that also tie well into the monument proposal and, in my opinion, build on a multifaceted tourism complex. Efforts such as the Colorado River Heritage Greenway Park and Trails, the Arizona Heritage Trails, and the recent designations of the Black Canyon and Mojave National Water Trails. Members of our coalition have been involved in these ecotourism efforts before the monument proposal, and we will be involved in the future working closely with the Town Advisory Board here in the community. We value the opportunity to partner with you on these efforts. We are hopeful that the board will lend support to the monument proposal today by voting to support it. We are not asking for a resolution or a letter, simply a vote today supporting the monument. I am open to any questions that the board members have.
Okay, are there any questions from the board? Please.
I know when we met with you, over 300,000 acres are already designated as an environmentally protected area. This also increases that area by an additional 45,000 acres. This is something that we discussed with you, that when I thought we left that meeting, they were going to have a town hall so the residents of Laughlin could have their input. And that was discussed at that meeting, that there was going to be a proposed date before this meeting today for the Laughlin residents to have input on this issue. So me as a member of this board, since the residents of this community have not been allowed to have proper input on this issue, I will abstain from voting.
I appreciate your comments. We've been meeting with everybody we can, and we do have a website, a Facebook site, a Twitter site, Instagram site. All of our information's gone into the local newspapers. We've tried to outreach, and we will continue to outreach. There's efforts that we can do to table at events that you have and other outreach efforts, and we'd be glad to do that. The idea is to increasingly inform, people about the monument and such. So just, we feel like that partnership extends into the future.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
My feeling is that this is a positive exercise. And the only direction I can see that would be followed is that this would be a benefit to the Laughlin community and its population for any one of a number of reasons that you already have mentioned, Alan, primarily with tourism. And this is important for the community because there was a time at which we were entertaining 11 million people a year. Mm-hmm. That figure has now diminished to 5 and 6. And anything that we can do that will enhance the momentum of tourist visitations should be given serious consideration. That's the reason that I support this. And secondly, a great deal of time has been spent not only by members of this board, but by Alan and his people. And a lot of adjustments have been made. A lot of modifications of the area have been made and submitted to the affected parties. And all of them, with probably maybe one exception, are agreeable with the boundaries as they now exist and as are shown by the map which is portrayed on the monitor. So, I favor this. I think it's time to, we've been dealing with this as a board for a couple of years now. And I think that it's time that we bring it to a head, bring it to a vote, and move forward.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Any other questions from the board? Comments?
The only comment is I personally believe that it's advantageous to the community and the state to have this. And I agree we should just move on and make it happen.
Okay. And I will state, Alan, you've been a veritable fixture for the last couple of months here, even at the meeting with the commissioner when we had him, that meeting with coffee. So I've seen you more than many, many people lately. I do appreciate the manner in which, you came before this board over a year ago. I sat on the board then. The modifications we asked you to make have been made. And that was our pushback at that time. And I appreciate the fact that, that has been done and handled. And just seeing you, again, being involved in the community and stuff in several, of the meetings when the commissioner was here and stuff to just answer questions and stuff that this board had of you. And then the effort that you've tried to articulate and display how this is going to play out. Although I'm probably too lazy for ecotourism, that's not going to be me. I do recognize that the next generation coming up behind us, that is of significance to them. But, me, a couch and Netflix are good. So I'm different. I'm a different generation. But I do appreciate all the work that you've put into this. So I just wanted to commend you for that.
Madam Chair, I would
make a motion.
I would make a motion that the Laughlin Town Advisory Board.
I'm sorry. Yes, I didn't. We do need to open it up to public comment. We just took it amongst the board. So do you want to hear public comment before we vote?
Well,
we should.
We don't have to vote. Basically, if you're following the rules, we do a motion. There's discussion of the motion.
Okay.
Either for or against, and then we take a vote.
Well, for us, for our procedure, but what they're saying is opening this up to public comment from the audience on any type of, and typically we do that, so.
Let them talk.
Okay, all right, I'll go ahead and take any input from the public that we have. I didn't know there was anyone. Normally I get a sheet of paper that tells me. I didn't know we had public comment on this. Please state your name and address for the record, although we know it, but it's,
Good
know the
afternoon.
drill.
Martin Knaus, M-A-R-T-I-N, Knaus, K-N-A-U-S-S, 3826 Duke of Earl Court, Laughlin, Nevada. I'm representing the Laughlin Economic Development Corporation. The National Parks Conservation Association proposed boundaries of this Avi Kwa Ame Spirit Mountain National Monument will eliminate any chance of clean, solar-generated electric power and transmission in this area being proposed for this monument. Over 200,000 acres of potential land for solar-generated electric power would be forever excluded from use. The state of Nevada has committed to the generation and use of renewable energy when it passed the Renewable Portfolio Standard. At least 50% of the electricity in the state of Nevada must be, by 2030, must be generated from renewable resources. This will not be viable, no way, without the use of solar-generated electric power in areas where transmission lines and switch stations exist. And this area has connectivity to 3 switching stations, major important switching stations. The proposed national monument will severely restrain the ability of Nevada to achieve those goals in an economic and efficient manner. The Laughlin Township is the site of one of those major regional switch stations and major transmission lines. An area south of Laughlin, aka the Southlands, is proposed for solar-generated electricity. Laughlin will be the hub of economic development for this entire area of solar installations in the US 95 corridor. The proposed national monument will exclude any development of renewable energy along that corridor. The LEDC requests you reject the Avi Kwa Ame Spirit Mountain National Monument as currently outlined. The 200,000 plus acres for potential solar-generated electric power must be excluded. Pathways for transmission lines must be maintained. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, thank you. Alan, if I might have you address, because I know I'm aware of Mr. Knaus's concerns, and those were the same concerns that were addressed at this board, I believe February of 2020. That we had when you appeared. However, the request that we did make of you, and I don't know when or if you met with the is it Laughlin Economic Development, LEDC?
LEDC.
Again, after that, after the initial proposal and our rejection.
Yes.
But if you wouldn't mind to maybe speak with Mr. Knaus, give him the modifications that have been done. Are you aware of that? Have you seen it? Okay, so you're still saying that it's correct. It does, but I believe it moves it away from the switching station and the proposed transmission line that was. I see. Okay. I see. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
so
we
if you
did have a
wouldn't mind-
a phone conversation with 3 members of the board, and we have a difference of opinion. Most of that 200,000 acres that they're talking about is within the Paiute El Dorado Valley area of critical environmental concern, and that doesn't allow for, whether the monument exists or not.
Right, because you already have that.
You already have that
established
restriction.
proposal, so you can't build.
And so you're not going to change that. That particular ACEC is being used to mitigate impacts for other solar projects. A Dry Lake Solar Project, the mitigation money that used to mitigate the impacts of that solar development is playing out on the ACEC. So this, I would say, is probably the highest rated ACEC in the country according to BLM because of that providing the place on which mitigation can take place. We did remove the Southlands project, and we had discussions with the 8-Minute Solar and with the officials in the corporation and agreed to take that out. So that doesn't impact the Southlands area. We agreed with that, and we took that out.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can talk about, eliminating ACECs and putting solar development in there, but in reality, that's not going to happen. And so that 200,000 acre figure that is being thrown out there is really not accurate. It's, you already got
ACECs
restrictions on that. So I respect his position and such. We just, the reality is that the monument has no impact on that. We left plenty of development area around Searchlight. If you look at the monument map and look at the disposal area around Searchlight, it's a huge area around Searchlight. Solar energy could take place there, and there's a disposal boundary around Calnavera, as well as the disposal boundary here. BLM ever decides to, or the community wants to dispose of land within the disposal boundary here, solar energy can take place. So, that's,
I understand.
think our response.
Okay, all right. So I'll go ahead and call for a motion or call for the question amongst the board, or is there any additional discussion? Any additional discussion, Herb?
No.
No? Okay. So I can make the motion too. So I'll go ahead and make a motion in support of what is become known as the Avi Kwa Ami Spirit Mountain National Monument. I have a motion.
I will second that.
And I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
Okay. The vote is 3-1, and the motion carries here today. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and open item 8, which is comments by the general public, which is a period devoted to comments by the general public about matters relevant to this board, but that are not listed on today's agenda. And because it's not listed, we can't take, no vote may be taken on a matter that isn't on this agenda, and comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Please step up to the speaker's podium. If applicable, state your name and address and spell your name for the record. If any member of the board wishes to extend the length of a presentation, this will be done by the chair or the board by majority vote. Okay? Anyone wishing to speak on items that are within the purview of this board, however, are not listed on today's agenda. If you would like to speak, please come to the podium. Okay. Seeing no additional public comment, I will call for, this double page thing's messing with me.
Before we adjourn, Madam Chair,
Yes, I'll call
I'd
for,
like to remind everyone that the Veterans Ceremony will be at the Avenue of the Flags on Veterans Day this week, Thursday at 11 a.m. Everyone's welcome.
all right, thank you.
I'd like to make.
Please, yes.
Several years ago, Dennis Cedarberg came down in the fall when they were putting their public works agenda together in their budgets and discussed what was going to be done, road work, et cetera, in Laughlin. We have not heard anything from Clark County in the last several years. Consequently, we have roads that have not been touched, crack sealed or anything, and I'd like to see somebody come down here.
Yeah, maybe after the first of the year and give us an update. I don't think it'll happen between now and the holidays, but after the first of the year, maybe Dennis.
The problem is, they're putting their budget together right now. And if they put it in and there's nothing for Laughlin, there's nothing we can do about it.
But Mark knows how to find out.
We're in communication with Public Works. I don't want to say a date that they'll be down here. We're hoping in the next few meetings they should, but that will be posted in the agenda and they'll be down here having representatives. So they are aware of stuff. They are able to discuss roads and stuff like that. But yes, we're hoping for sooner than later, but I don't want to say a date right now. So.
But that's also was your wheelhouse as far as public works. So
yes.
We know you know how to find that out.
And I would say there's a very good possibility next month's meeting, but I don't want to say that as set in stone. So
Thanks.
we're hoping to get something for like an end of the year review, so they can kind of like in the new year figure out stuff like that. So, but yes, and our office is always available for anything that needs to come in about road conditions, and we're able to notify Public Works and let them know what can be done and stuff like that. So, I mean, not that it's not being done a full repair, we can always look at intermittent things as well, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so our next meeting date is December 14th, which is a little bit of a later meeting, Tuesday, here at this government center. And Herm will let you make the motion.
I move we adjourn.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for attending.